G'day and welcome back to another episode of Destiny for Dummies. Hey, what can I say? I've got a face for a radio.
Alright, it's recording.
Yeah, just adjust. I think it looks a bit crooked.
What?
Yeah, that's alright. We'll just sit like this.
My well is definitely better than. Before we start, I'd like to tell you a little bit of a joke. You ever hear about those 3 holes in the ground? Well.
G'day and welcome back to another episode of Destiny for Dummies, the show primarily about Destiny 2, but with an Australian unique flavour. I'm Slammer74, Slam for short, and this is Falcon Darkblade. So we thought today we'd try something different. We've been wanting to do this for a while and our schedule's finally lined up. So we're just going to basically have a conversation today about is it or is it not a good time to come back to Destiny. Right? We've got some reasons why we do believe it is a good time to come back, and we'll start right here. So first of all, Falcon, there's a large content drop that's coming September. I'm not sure what day. We've got a whole heap of new areas, including Europa. I'm really looking forward to going to Europa and getting into the Deep Stone Crypt and find out more about the exos, where they come from, and where the story's going with them.
Most definitely. Ever since we've heard Cade's Death Tape where he talks about that, it's definitely been on one of the top things on my list of what I wanted to see, the Deep Stone Crypt and what that's all about.
Yep. Another good reason is they finally introducing a new element called stasis. Now, as I understand it, that element is not only going to be on weapons, but also another class. So each of our classes, Titan, Warlock, and Hunter, will actually get a 4th subclass, basically.
We haven't seen anything like this since pretty much the Taken King, where they introduced Stormcaller and stuff like that. You could argue the start of Destiny 2 when they introduced Sentinel and Dawnblade, but those weren't really different enough from the classes we already had. I think this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I'm really looking forward to it. Bungie has announced that there's going to be a lot more variation in the subtrees, as in we'll be able to actually adjust or not have a set diamond, so to speak, of all the classes. So you should be able to mix and match different abilities.
Finally, Icarus on another class.
No. They're not changing the existing subclasses, simply the new stasis subclasses coming in. Although they have announced that, I think if it's successful and people are enjoying it, they may actually go back and look at adding additional functionality or the ability to swap and mix perks within the existing subclasses. As for now, too bad, so sad, mate. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know how they're working into the weapons or anything. There may be a little bit of information out there already, but when it comes to new content like this, I actually do try to avoid a little bit of the spoiler stuff, particularly the story, but I'm sure that I do miss the occasional bit of information as well at the same time. I
think the other thing about the new stasis sort of element is that are they really going to introduce that into like the Fallen? Because if you think about it, the Fallen, Hive, Vex, they've already got their own types of shields. So are the stasis guns really only going to be effective against the new enemy, or are they going to go back and change some of the old shield types?
Yeah, look, I don't know. It's a bit of an unknown at the moment, I suppose. But I think that the stasis element itself, I'm assuming that the enemy, that we're getting a new enemy race, the Veil, I believe they're called. I do believe that they're probably going to be wielding that element, but not sure about how this element will interact with Fallen and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's a big unknown, and I have to say, I'm actually excited that there's this new thing coming, and I don't know how it's going to work, and we're going to have to figure it out as we go. Bungie has also improved integrating the story mode into the actual game. So traditionally you had the game and then you had to go and look at the grimoire or watch Byf and Mylan's games videos. I mean, that's how I learned about the lore. Thanks, Byf. Thanks, Mylan. Maddie.
No one could be asked going onto the website and reading all of that crap in Destiny 1.
Of course they fucking can't, mate. No, But for the last, 2-3 seasons, I feel like Bungie's really doing a much better job at trying to introduce that story. Has everything paid off? No. And I go back to the Vex Offensive when we had the final, the final boss within the last couple of weeks, and really all it was the same boss that we'd already had, just a different shape, like nothing actually changed. And I think a lot of people were disappointed, but I think Bungie also learned their lesson from that.
I wasn't even keeping up to date with all of that news. I was just doing the Vex Offensive, and I went, "Oh, this Dealix were different." I didn't even realise it was the final boss. I didn't even realise there was something different about it.
I forget his name. The something mind, I think it was. If anyone's surprised, I can't remember given the amount of Destiny I play.
I should say something.
Yeah, I really have a shared memory, basically. Bungie has done a great job. I mean, last season they took a chance and introduced the destruction of the Almighty as a live event, and that was fantastic, other than the fact it took an hour for something to happen. Again, I think Bungie's taken that one on the chin, and they do realise that the average person's patience just doesn't last that long. And I think really what it was about is they tried to keep the physics realistic on how long it actually would take a missile launched from a platform in outer space to travel the distance to the Almighty. I mean, I really do think that that's what they were trying to do, but it just doesn't translate very well into a game, especially for someone like me who got up at 3 a.m. specifically to watch that and said to my wife, my poor beautiful wife, that I'd be up for 10 minutes. And then I went to bed like an hour and a half later. Mate, she was pissed the next day. Can I tell you? Because the alarm woke her up. It's your mother.
Yeah, I know.
Another reason to come back and play now, which I think is really a good reason, is the new and interesting exotics they're introducing into the game. And one particular point in that is that we don't know what they're doing with the exotics into the new season, how we're going to get them or something. So if you really want to get in and get a really fun exotic, and we all know which one I'm talking about, the Ruinous Effigy.
Everyone likes playing with balls.
Put these balls in your mouth. The Ruinous Effigy is a lot of fun, and I'm seeing a lot of videos from streamers and just friends alike that are just having a ton of fun running around in the Crucible, slam dunking on people's heads. I mean, what more do you want from a weapon, really? We have to touch on the exotics that come from the raids and the content that is leaving. We'll come back to this a little bit later on as well, but the fact is there are some fantastic exotics at the moment, primarily the Anarchy. If you don't have one of those, you want to get in and get it now, because that thing is the duck's nuts. All right. If you like playing content solo, you like high-end activities, the Anarchy just allows you to get that heavy damage ticks going while you switch to something else like a mountaintop, and you're basically getting the best of both worlds. So moving on, the quests, I think we're talking about exotic quests, so they definitely have been much less grindy, and that also does include just the general quests as well, even the ones that aren't exotic. They have been definitely a bit more to the point, and a lot less, Dark Drinker or Raise Lighter. What was the other one? The one where you shot Arc?
It was Arc something. It was Arc. I'm not a casual, I swear.
Anyway, I think most of the veterans of Destiny 1 will remember just how boring as fuck running around a planet looking for materials to pick up, and dead set, I think for each sword was probably a minimum of 2 or 3 hours just running around looking for materials on the ground.
By the end, oh my god, you'd never need to buy materials again.
No. So there's a lot less of that, so that is definitely a plus as well. Power leveling, whilst still there and is still a pain in the ass as far as RNG is concerned, definitely is a lot easier than it was, say, 12 months ago. they have made quite a few steps to alleviate the RNG in that, you can now, you get a powerful gear which takes you up to, another level, for argument's sake, let's say 995, right? But your overall level might be 996. Well, then the rest of your gear, just the blues that drop onto the ground have a chance of actually dropping at 996.
I think that one thing, segue time actually, one thing that really helps with this is the season pass. Because you go in and you look at, okay, I've got boots I can pick up from the season pass. I'm not going to pick them up just yet because they're the same level as what I've got. You get your chest piece up higher, and you know what? If I pick up the boots now, it'll get me a little bit higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it allows you to sort of boost yourself.
You can backfill. So you get powerful gear to raise your overall light level. Then you can either go to a vendor and you can purchase gear at your current level. You can find things on the ground, or as Falcon said, you can pop things out of your season pass to backfill those lower spots. So, can you still get 5 or 6 powerful drops in a row on your fucking chest piece? You're damn right you can.
Yes, you can.
Having a couple of activities like the dungeons where completing the final boss gives you a pinnacle that's guaranteed to be armor, stuff like that is fantastic, and I would highly encourage Bungie to continue down that road, and whether it be even something along the lines of, you get a choice. So you might finish the activity, you get a choice of, picking an armor or a weapon, that sort of intentionality.
Even if there was 5 chests and you just knew that one was helmet, that one was boots. Just pick up whichever one, and then you just get the piece you actually need rather than just wasting your time constantly.
Talking on the season pass some more, if you're a player that hasn't played Destiny in a really long time, then you may not even be aware what the season pass is. So I think, is it the Season of Dawn?
I didn't play much.
Maybe it was it might have actually been when Shadowkeep dropped. They introduced the season pass.
Yeah, it was because they had that sniper hand cannon.
Oh, of course, yeah. Ariana's Vow, fantastic. If you
once again, not a casual.
It's basically that there's 2 tracks to it. There's a free track and a paid track. So any New Light players, if you remember, New Light started in Shadowkeep as well. Any of the New Light players, you can basically just play the game, level up, and as you level up, you get the occasional goodie. It's really that simple. There's nothing to complain about. It's just a means to give you stuff, and I think part way through that, generally you gain access to the season's exotic. Whether or not you agree that an exotic should be given out as part of a season pass, that's an argument for another video.
That's a completely different conversation.
But the fact is, it's there. You can get the good thing. Furthermore, if you then buy the season, or you buy the season pass and you get access to all the seasons for the year, basically there's a lot more gear on that, including extra levels of the armor. There's the later armor in the season track actually drops with generally 65 plus stats, which is fantastic. And don't forget, in this day and age, Bungie has also introduced the ability to change the element of the armor. And you definitely want to do that before you masterwork it or rank it up, because it uses an absolute metric fuck ton of materials and masterwork cores, that kind of stuff. So get the armor. If it's not the element you want, change it, then level it up, please, for God's sake. So another thing that Bungie's done recently is they brought back Trials. Which someone like you surely must have been happy with.
It was amazing to see Trials back. It gave us something to do, as in us, I mean me and the people I play with. That flawless.
Just to clarify, he's not actually playing with those people. If you he's playing with those people.
So.
Just thought we better make that clear.
Grinding for some of the guns was good. The assault rifle they had, it's basically a hard light, but just, not an exotic, which is pretty damn good. Especially for that season where all the rifles are definitely meta. One thing to remember is that, they came up with a new seal, but that was pretty much the only reason to play. yeah, they had a couple of good guns, like I just said, you know, the shotgun and the assault rifle, but, you know, they didn't really have a whole lot to offer.
So, just to prove you're not a casual, what was the name of the shotgun and the auto rifle?
Oh,
Alright, I'll tell you he's not a casual. It's the Astral Horizon and the Summoner.
You know what? It's not. I don't even think it's called the Summoner in this one.
No, it is.
Oh, yeah, right.
I think. I don't actually have it because no one's carried me to that level of victory.
I really hope the mic can hear us. Because if it can't, then oh my god.
Well, maybe we should have done a test run before we started.
Yeah, we should have.
Alright, maybe that's a good time now. Should we pause that now and actually check that?
Yes.
Hey, we'll see you in just a second.
Welcome to intermission.
So just before we get back into the content, I hope everyone enjoyed that intermission. And I just wanted to point out the fact that while Falcon was, fucking around with his camera, trying to play it back to see if he could actually hear us, and couldn't find it, and that took a good, I don't know, 10 minutes while I went out to the fridge and got another beer. And I walked back in, what are you doing, mate? He said, I'm trying to find a player. I said, it's probably just a touch screen. He goes, it's not a fucking touch screen. And touches the screen, and yep, it's a touch screen. Golf club. Anyway, so moving along, where actually were we? I've got no fucking idea. Could go back and check.
You think I can figure out how to press play on this thing?
Yeah, no, we don't have that, guys.
Oh
it took
God.
10 minutes to do the first time. All right. So we'll keep moving on, and maybe sooner or later it'll come back to us where we were. So far we've talked about a lot of good things coming, which are good reasons to play Destiny, but unfortunately there's a couple of sort of more, I guess you'd construe it as negative reasons to get in and play now. And number one amongst that has to be the content that's leaving the game. So, if you're a rock-eating gopher, been living in a fucking cave, whatever, the fact is that Mars, Io,
Mercury, Titan?
Mercury, well no one cares about Mercury, but yes, and Titan.
Well, I mean, Mercury is a cool planet, they just didn't really implement it in a cool way.
Well, it is, it's just boring as fuck. Listen, that's not really true. There are some good things about it. Anyway, long and short story is those 4 planets are going, so here's the crunch, is that any of that content, I assume, any of the campaign missions, so obviously you've got your Red War campaign, which was the Destiny 2 launch. That I again assume would still be available. But if Mercury's going, then I'm guessing then that Curse of Osiris campaign is going. And say what you will about the Curse of Osiris expansion, doing the campaign is still worth it in the overall lore and story of the game. Anyway, so again, the campaign, it didn't really end on a high note, but overall, it was still worth playing through at once. What do we get after Warmind?
I feel like it was Forsaken.
It was Forsaken, and that's where the going really gets good. Thankfully, I think you should be able to still play the Forsaken campaign afterwards. So not only have you got these planets and campaigns going walkabout, also you have like the different exotics and the exotic quests and that sort of stuff that came from those planets. So I think from Earth got you that what's that good cool scout rifle? The Mitre. The Mitre came from Earth. Titan had something.
Again, we're not.
Io, home of the Whisper. I mean, okay, the Whisper doesn't.
Catalyst. I haven't even done that.
Well, fuck, you better get into that. There you go. There's another reason to start playing Destiny, to finish the Catalyst. It'd actually be interesting. I'd be interested to know if that mission is going anywhere. But given that it's based on IO, I make the assumption that it is. But for all I know, Bungie could pull a Swifty and you just launch into it from the dashboard.
That is something that I hope they do. Since we're talking about all the content disappearing, I hope that they just don't get rid of the campaigns. I reckon what they should do is just have a tab, and you just click on Start Red War, and you know, it just there's a red wall marker.
I don't personally see any issue with, you know, getting rid of the location and still being able to access the campaign. The problem is that I don't know, when you talk about file size and the reason they're taking the planets out to reduce file size and complexity, I don't know if they can take those planets out and still have that as a location.
I think it defeats the purpose of taking it out.
I don't know how that works. So
anyway,
we'll just have to see what happens there. But the long of the point is, you know, on the short of the point is that, you know, you've got these exotic weapons. Not to mention just the standard legendary weapons. The fact is there were some really good weapons that came from some of those locations. You know, Escalation Protocol. Thankfully, they've re-released those weapons as part of the current season, but you know, there's plenty of things that haven't been re-released. They may get re-released later on, but you know, the fact is if you've got nothing better to do, you're looking for a game that, you know, you can sink your teeth into, level up, have some fun, and let's face it, the actual gameplay in Destiny is pretty much unsurpassed. You can't find a game that plays better than Destiny, and you know, Bungie's been well known for that ever since, you know, back in Halo. Halo, you know, I remember picking up Halo. My brother John, who lives in England, hey John, first recommended to me. He said, "Slam, you haven't played a game until you've played Halo," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever." Anyway, I picked up and played it, and oh my god, that thing was beautiful, and you know. Obviously, games have gotten a lot better now since, but you know, Bungie really put their stamp on what they do back then.
Even playing Call of Duty at the moment, it's you've got your improved sensitivity, and you know, you can do all this fancy jumping and stuff like that. But Destiny's still better. You've got the abilities integrated with the gunplay. It's just unsurpassable.
Yeah, so they're the main points we want to cover, guys. I honestly believe that now is a good time to come back and play Destiny. If you didn't want to, if you wanted to come back for the next major expansion in September, there's nothing wrong with doing that, and I would highly recommend that, because I really think there's some really good story beats coming, and I've got pretty high expectations for the new season, but there is a ton of content and fun to be had by coming in right now. You can get all the good weapons and basically be geared up, ready to go for the new season, and get in and enjoy that lore and stories, even as average as some bits of that is. But you can get in and enjoy that. You know, overall, there's this whole world of game that you can get in and enjoy now. And by the time the new season comes around, you're back into it, you're familiar, you've geared up, you've got some really good weapons and roles, and you know, going to the Drifter and focusing those Umbral Engrams at the moment, like honestly, it's not hard to get some really good roles. So highly recommend, get in there now, start playing. And if you've got any additional comments that you want to raise on why it's a good time to get in, please put them in the comments down below, and I promise we will come back and actually address those. If there's any that are strong enough, hell, we might even do a second video or whatever. I don't know, edit it in, whatever. But conversely, also, if you have some other really strong reasons to why you think it's a shit time to start playing, then I'd really like to hear that too, and we can pin that in the comments, for people. Now, we're not here to advocate Bungie. We're not Bungie shills. Do we love the game?
Yes. I wouldn't mind being a Bungie shill.
Don't you give us a... we'll advocate for the game because it's a top game and we love it. But certainly we know as good as anyone else does that there's a lot of flaws in it.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that the good elements of the game outweigh the bad by a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So. All right, guys. So thanks very much for joining us. Please don't forget to, as I said, make those comments. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. All that good stuff that helps us. Shut the fuck up.
Mr. Popular over here.
All that stuff that helps us grow the channel. And you know, I really do hope that you either learned something from watching this. You at least got to laugh and point at the fact that my hair is going grey and balding and whatever else it might be.
It is funny.
If not, shut the fuck up. At least, if nothing else, you got to put some faces to the names. Enjoy it while you can, because you know they're pretty sure that the camera lens is going to crack very shortly. Have a good day. You got anything else?
No, I was just like, I was so worried. What do you mean my lens is gonna crack? But I got it. It just took me a bit.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Alright guys, thanks very much for joining us. I hope you have a fantastic day. Don't forget your string and your tin cans as we go back down under.
I'm like it? Yeah,
Turn it off.
I'll get up. It's okay.